Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. Hey everyone, it's Catherine Cristani with another episode of Willow Healing Matters, and today I am joined by the beautiful Rachel Corpus, who is an angel, an actual angel in a human body. She came into physical form to learn and teach how to live a fulfilled life in deep connection with Source. She was born with the ability to experience things that others could not easily see or feel. Some of her earliest memories are of watching an angel sing above her crib or playing with ghost children from nearby cemetery. Early in her life, Rachel experienced her first of many near-death experiences when her family was in a severe car accident. She remembers going to the other side and being shown what her life could be like if she decided to return as a healer and as a teacher of many. After coming back, she experienced her gifts getting stronger and stronger. Daily meditation, study, and absolute faith in God helped Rachel grow into the spiritual person she is today. As a professional channel, Rachel plays fluidly in the quantum realm and the multiverse of parallel realities. She works in collaboration with angels, ascended masters, people on the other side, and high-vibrational extraterrestrials. The best part of Rachel's life today is helping others remember their divinity, uncover their natural gifts, and evolve in their best selves. She is committed to being a liaison for spirit, ready to adapt to any need, being, or situation that spirit presents. In the three-dimensional world, Rachel loves painting, watching movies, and spending time with her favorite people, her husband, 3 kids, and her animals. So big welcome to the show, Rachel.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
So I guess my first question, which I'm sure everyone listening would be going, how did you know you were an angel in a human body? Like, how did that information even come about?
Right. Because that's a weird thing, right? Well, I
I,
had my first year. Everybody wants to know that. Like, is this girl okay? Why does she think that?
I'm not questioning your sanity. I am questioning the curiosity of how you came across this information because that's what I'm curious. So please don't think I think you're insane because half the
No, I
things that come
don't.
out of my mouth are definitely like people look at me and go, "You said what now?" I was like, "Yeah, I was talking to the Galactics yesterday." And they're like, "What?" So Rachel, please be as woo as you like. You can
I
be as
love it.
woo as you
Thank you.
like.
I feel so seen. Thank you. Well, like many people who are joining us today, I was born weird, delightfully gifted, talking to angels and dead people and knowing how animals were communicating with me and all of that good, juicy, yummy stuff. And then when I was 4, my family was coming back from seeing a movie and we were hit by a drunk driver. And I had a near death experience. And so these angels that I had been talking to, unbeknownst to me, they were my guardian angels. Well, they said, "Hey, Rachel, we're going to go on a field trip." I had a near death experience, and they said, "We're going to take you home." It's like, all right. Well, I was out of my body, and it was my 2 guardian angels, my little 4-year-old self, and then this old lady voice, which is this voice right now that you're hearing. I'm like, who's that? And they said, "That's you. That's your grown up voice." I was like, ugh, I don't like that. Like, well, it's your consciousness. Now, I say that part of the story because it is the reason why I remember this near death experience because it was so long ago. I'm 48. I was 4 then. But I remember it in detail because they brought my consciousness back. Otherwise, I don't know that I would remember it so well, but I was kind of in 2 forms. I was my 4-year-old self, which I totally still am today. Totally playful, totally into fart jokes, all of that.
Do you have
And
boys as
also,
well? Because that would go down the
yes,
hoot. Yeah.
yes, yeah, of course I do. And I was my consciousness. So they said, going on a field trip and you're going to be okay, but we want to take you somewhere. And they took me to the heavenly realm, specifically to the seraphim realm. And he said, "You are one of us. You are an angel like us." And I was like, all right. A lot of what they told me didn't really make sense at that time, but also it was this feeling of hearing something for the first time, but also knowing it. Like they would show me around the heavenly realm and they would show me things like, this is where you work when you're here. This is what you wear. Here's where you keep your shoes, things like that. And it was like, I remember this, but it's the first time I'm seeing it. I'm like, no, it's not. This is your place. And I it was like it was all coming back to me. They also showed me what a real seraphim looks like, and we are the wheel of eyes. Kind of scary. And they said, but angels can show up however people expect them to. So sometimes we look like this, and they look like kind of like the biblical angels. Because as a 4-year-old, I was growing up Catholic, and so I had a Bible in my house. So it was very like the wings and the halo. And that's what I expected them to look like. So they did. And they said, this is also what a seraphim looks like. And I was like, whoa, that's amazing. That's cool. And they walked me around, all around heaven. And they said, here are some things that are going to happen in the world throughout your life. Here's some things that are going to happen to you in your life. And here's the whole reason behind it. Here's why you are an angel, and here's what your mission is. Here's your job. Now you can do this job here, or you can go home. Both are home. And I actually didn't make a choice to stay or to go. I remember my mom, and I didn't want her to be sad. And as soon as I remembered that, I was back in my little body. So that was my first near-death experience, and that's how I knew I was an angel. And since then, I've had more near-death experiences, also out-of-body experiences through meditation, astral travel, all of that woo-woo, awesome, weird stuff. And I've been back several times for meetings and things like that to help or to learn. But yeah, that's how I know.
And with so many near death experiences, is there a reason why they keep happening? Is there a reason behind it? Or, it's just a wake up call? Yeah.
Well, there's you could look at it two ways. I'm an idiot and I need to learn, or I wrote it in before I was born. I wrote in these meetings or these visits back home because and that really is the real reason. We write in these milestones into our blueprint or our soul map to help us remember our divinity. I've never met a human in my life. We're all from someplace. We're all angelic. We're all starseed. We're all from someplace wonderful. I'm not anything amazing. I'm like everybody here. I'm an immigrant like everyone. And so we all write in these, I don't know, these memory points, these nexus points that help us remember. And for me, it was some near-death experiences that helped me go back to the other side. And even though that sounds dramatic, I was safe in every one of them. And they told me, not great for my family. I'm sure it was scary for them, but I know I wrote those in ahead of time.
That's so fascinating. And I think it's really important that you highlighted that too, that we rewrite, we program these certain events into our life because sometimes we do attract them, because we can always shift our timeline, but we still have this overall blueprint that allows us to become who we need to become so that we can serve and find our purpose if we choose to, because it's always a choice.
Yes.
Right?
Always a choice. Yes.
Yeah. And I love too that you said, you weren't scared, but everyone else was. I have a question actually, because I had a near death experience where I was actually driving home on the freeway with my son, and I got shown like this flash. It was so real that if I stayed in the lane I was in, I was going to run into the car in front of me and basically spin off the freeway and die. And I just heard, change lanes now. And I did. And then exactly what happened in my vision, I saw like the car braked for no reason really, really hard. And I would have been going to overtake it anyway and then clipped it because it broke too suddenly and etc. And then my guardian angel voices changed. So I've had a few other people around me, and they say that have gone through near death experiences, and they said the same thing, the guardian angel voices change. So I don't know if you have any insight on that, but I just felt curious to ask.
Well, it's possible that the voice that warned you was not a guardian angel. It could have been an ancestor. It could have been the voice of God. Because what I'm hearing right now from the realm is that our angels don't change. We can get additions. We can have extra assignments added to us, but they don't change. And sometimes they can change their voice to sound imperative. They'll embolden their voice. Change lanes now. And their voice will sound different later because they will use a timbre of their voice that gets our attention. So yes, to us, it'll sound different later, but our angels themselves, they don't change. We've had the same angels assigned to us since we were created. And we were created at the same time as Source.
Yeah, it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
I find it really fascinating. And it's interesting what you said, more people get added. And I feel like they get added as you evolve as well, because the more you
Yeah.
step into your gifts. So, like, now I have like a healing council team. And then when I stepped into the next thing, so then there's the galactic team, and then I step into the next thing. I want to ask you more about the angel realm, because what I feel to share this experience I had with you about the angel realm. So what had happened was, I got this weird email saying one of our guests is offering a scholarship to come work with them. And my guides were like, apply. I can do that. And then it had, why are you applying? And I wrote, my guides told me to. And then I ended up having this talk with this person, and it was an angel school. And my guides were like, yes, you need to learn about angel school. And then she said the price. And this was even with the scholarship. I basically fell off my chair. And I'm sitting there and I'm like meditating, and I went outside. I said, look, guys, you keep telling me, yes, I need to learn from angel school, but this is, we can't do this. Like, this is not feasible. I don't even know where to get this money from. And then I said, if you really want me to do it, show me a black cockatoo, because they're very rare to see. And then sure enough, I get home and I get out of the car and a black cockatoo flies over the car. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was so upset because I couldn't see a way to make it happen. And then my husband went, did you ask when you're meant to do it? And I was like, oh, I didn't. So I went back and I asked them, oh, you can do it whenever. You don't have to do it right now. And then that night, or maybe a few nights later, I was meditating. And for me, like, portals show up, or to other realms show up as a door. And there'll always be an inscription on the door. And there was a wing, like and a halo. And I opened the door, and it was just thousands of beings, angelic beings on different levels and different things. And then they said, this is your angel school. This is where you'll come and learn from. So I felt to share that with you, because I feel it's almost, if you're open to it, you can access those realms. And I feel that you could get to keep going back there. But have you found it's easier to access without the near death experiences now?
Yes. Yes. Every person, we actually have everything that we need already with us. We're fully equipped. And also, we have these perceived barriers that we can get rid of if we want. And those barriers can be ancestral trauma, limiting beliefs that come from our parents and our grandparents, stuff that happens to us in our life, issues with self-worth. Yeah, these things can get in the way. And even belief systems, like, for me, it was growing up Catholic. I'm not a recovering Catholic. I really liked that experience, but also something that was built in my belief system was, there are certain things that I can't do to access God. I need someone else to help me. I need a priest to help me. Or I need to be right in my spirituality before I can take communion. There are certain steps I have to do before I can reach God. And that's just not true. Those things are not true. Able to reach source because we have source within us. We are not separate from source ever, which, by the way, is the mission I was shown when I was on the other side. I get to help people know that, not by preaching it, just by living it, just by being me. And so, getting back to what you're saying, we all have access to those realms, to those libraries, that knowledge, because it's within us. It's part of our DNA. Whether we come from a galactic realm, the angelic realm, it's embedded in us. And I think, actually, I don't want to think, I want to know. Angels, can you help me with that? Yeah. Part of the purpose of us incarnating over and over is like forgetting and remembering over and over again helps us delight in it and expand in our knowledge of who we are,
Yeah.
remembering our divinity.
And also the serendipities that happen, right? Like, it still amazes me when things line up. Oh, I pulled an oracle card the other day, and it was a crystal card, and it was jade, and I read about it. I was like, yeah, that's fitting for me. And then that night in the book I was reading, they were talking about jade being an activation crystal. But it's always
Yes.
that perfect timing, and it's a good reminder for me right now, but it's always that perfect timing.
Yes.
Learning to trust and learning to have faith, I guess, mostly in ourselves and in the process as well.
That's right.
So what led you to, I love that you work in the quantum realm, because I work there too. So what led you to, did your angels guide you to get there, or it was just a natural pull because of who you are?
Gosh, that's a great question. How did that happen? Hmm. Here's what happened. They're helping me remember that there was this time that I was looking behind my eyelids. That's one of my favorite practices, where I look behind my eyelids to get into the quantum realm. And I love that practice. And navigating the quantum realm like VR behind my eyelids. And then this was at nighttime, not high or anything like that, not at this time. But when I was fully immersed in the quantum realm, eyes closed, then I opened my eyes and the quantum realm was still there in my bedroom. And at that time, I realized I can access the quantum realm easily when I match it, when I'm in touch with it.
Interesting. So interesting. I noticed in your media kit that you work with, do you work with little humans? I call them little
I
humans.
do.
You do. Tell me a little bit about, so my background's as a speech language pathologist and I worked with children, and it wasn't fulfilling, but I still loved working with children, right? And and I didn't realize they used to call me the, so weird. My clients used to say that I was the autism whisperer because I would never have a problem working with children with autism spectrum disorder. But they're just little humans. They just interpret
Yeah.
things differently. So how do you work with little humans, and what is your perception of the energies coming through now? They seem to be more in tune and less forgetful of their, what happened before they came in.
Well, I really align with what you're saying, that when I feel I've been successful working with children, it's because I've seen them as little souls. I see them as souls in little bodies, and I can sense their soul worldliness, all of their wisdom packed into that little body, and sometimes that mismatch of knowing so much but not having the worldly experience that a 4-year-old has to offer themselves, and helping them create that match of, okay, I feel I know so much, but how do I negotiate that with my 4-year-old body or my 11-year-old body? I really enjoy doing that because it can be such a magical journey when as soon as it clicks. And what I notice right now is that people are incarnating, they're being born differently because they're choosing not to hold their gifts inside. Their gifts are not folded in, they're not hibernating, they're coming in beautifully outspoken, and they're not coming in raw either. They're coming in tuned and ready to go to work. So the light workers are coming in with the vocabulary already to work with. And so these children that are coming in, it feels like our duty as adults to follow them, follow their lead, so we can not jump on a labeling system and say, oh, well, this is the new thing we're going to call ADHD and all that stuff. No, just let's just watch it.
Yeah.
How do we support you? What do you need from us, darlings? What do you need? And
Mm.
let their messes be messy, because it's really not a mess. They're pulling everything out, recategorizing, and they're showing us how it all works. And it only looks messy because it's not how we would do it. So
Yeah.
our job is to be okay with what looks like chaos to us, but it's not chaos to them. You go.
I had this beautiful little client, and she was 4 and nonverbal. Her mum knew what else I could do. So she said, have at it. I give you permission to go work with her at like a spiritual level. I'm like, oh, yes, thank you. And so I was there working with her, and her guardian angels, I remember, just flew over the top of me and she could see them. So we're both tracking her angel, comes, sits beside me and whispers in my ear and says, you're not meant to heal her. And I'm like, and then they said, she's choosing not to speak. And I'm like, wow. And I told her mum, I said, because she's such a clever little girl and everyone underestimates her because she can't speak. And I never put it past her. I know you know what I'm saying. You need to stop throwing those toys. And she'd just look at me and laugh because she knew that I knew. And her mum's like, but why doesn't she want to? I said, look, I can't tell you that. That's her story and that's her journey. But at the same time, it's all okay. She chose you for a reason. There's a reason why. And this little girl, she has so many miracle things happen for her, like to get into the right therapies, to get into, like, she doesn't sit on wait lists. She gets picked up straight away. Everything's working to support her. I said, you just have to have faith in that, and believe in it. But it was just, for me, it was a really humbling lesson because it was like, wow, sometimes they're actually choosing not to talk, or they're
Yes.
choosing not to be a certain way. And my son, when he was younger, we had one of our cats pass away, and he was really sad. And he said to me, Mum, it was so much easier back there. Like, it was just so much easier in the spirit realm. And I said, I understand, sweetie. I imagine it would have been so much easier. And he goes, it was just easier. And sometimes I want to go back there, but I'm not going to, but sometimes I want to. And it was just these, like, little
Bless his
glimpses you
heart.
get. Exactly. And I knew it wasn't him wanting to die. It was him just purely saying, I miss that energy and I miss the simplicity of it. And even today, he will not talk if there's more than two adults in a room. Like, he just will
Mm.
not speak. He's like this sensitive little being. That's fine. At the same time, these are your grandparents that you have known for many, many years now. You need to go and say hello. And sometimes he just needs that moment, and then he'll come back out and then own it. But at the same time, it's like, just remember, just remember, just remember. Like you said, let them be in the
Right.
messy chaos, even though you're there going, we say hello to people, at least wave. So yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it puts you in the middle as the mama because you're the one in between the generations.
Exactly.
You're watching him lead. You're also feeling your parents sometimes like, well, where is he? We need a hug. Where's our grandson? Like, no, no, no. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to be a mama, isn't it?
And my dad went the other day. It was just on the weekend, actually. He just went, he's having a moment, isn't he? I said, he is, actually. Thank you for recognizing that. And then
Good.
once he snapped out of it, my dad just knows his love language is to play with him. So he just went and started playing with him, and then he completely came out of it. But it's interesting just to see different people's approaches to that.
Yes. Brilliant.
So what are you doing at the moment, Rachel? What are your passions? How are you working with souls? What excites you currently?
I got to tell you, what excites me currently is this. It's not a new thing. Personally, my angels have reminded me that there's this thing called savoring. And so everything that I do, I am savoring it. That's my new thing. So if I have a cup of tea, I really have a cup of tea. If I'm
Mm.
cuddling my kitten, I really cuddle my kitten. Like, I'm savoring everything. That's my new thing. That's my new thing. So I offer that to everybody. I'm savoring things, and it's really changing my life.
It's such a beautiful act of presence, really, isn't it? The
Yeah,
savoring.
I really,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's healing a lot in me. I'm really loving that. And that comes at a good time for me because I'm healing a lot of procrastination stuff in me. And so I'm writing some books, and those will be out next year. So those will be on my website. My website is my name, rachelcorpus.com. And yeah, this is what I do. This is what I do full time. I created this life and said to Source one time, said, I'm going back and forth here. I'm trying to be I was I worked in the church system for a while. I was a school teacher for a while, and I was like, look, I hear you calling. I'm trying to make sense of this in traditional ways, and it is not working. So we're just going to do this full time, Source. Let's just do it. But you got to prove it. If we're going to do this, prove it. And so that's what we're doing. We've been doing it for a few years, full time, baby. So if people want to meet and have a session, I'm available. I do this joyfully every day, except weekends. And I teach classes.
How dare you have time off? No, just kidding.
Right. I used to just meet with people whenever they wanted, and I thought, wait a minute. This isn't the lifetime where I'm a nun.
No.
No, I can have time off. Oh, yeah, that's right. I can have time off. Now I have better balance. But people can reach me on my website. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And I ask the guests that come on the show, Rachel, if you could heal or change something in the world, what would it be?
Oh, yeah. I was ready for this question. The thing that I thought about, my friend, is that I would want everyone to try to remember that everything they do. Yeah, I was between a few answers. Which one did I decide on? Angels, can you help me remember? They have choice. I
Mm.
want everyone to remember that they have a choice. No, that's not the one. No, I'm going to change, edit, that they are part of God,
Yeah. Yeah.
that they are connected to Source. I think if everybody remembered that, like not just remembered in their brain, but they felt it in every cell of their body. And it moved through them like warm honey, like a fucking opioid. Like if that was the feeling, because that's what it feels like, when you are at one with God, it is real. And that's what we're supposed to feel like. Not like you need to take a drug, but like it is the drug. It is the feeling. And if everybody could remember that that is our natural state, this world would heal.
And I had it's again, universe synchronicities. I had someone tell me last week, and she said, you are simply the vessel letting God flow through you to work with those around you. And when she said that, I was like, I've got nothing to prove. God's working through me. And she goes, God is your boss, like, or source is your
God
boss.
is my boss.
God is my boss.
All the time.
Yes. And she's like, why would God want you to not be rich and like rich in luxuries and abundance if that's what you want? God wants to treat you well. Let your employer pay you really well. And I love that resonates for you too, that God is your boss. And this is why we're all here. And when we try and shrink ourselves down, or we put ourselves in these positions where we're doing it because we feel we have to, that is when you start to shrink and you forget that you're here for a bigger purpose. And, it's really interesting watching humanity evolve at the moment. And is the main place people can find you, Rachel, on your website, or are you on social media at all?
Yeah, my website, and I'm on social media. Yeah.
Is it under Rachel Corpus as well? Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I'll make sure to put all those details in the show notes for people. But Rachel, thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing what you're doing and just being you as an angel on earth. I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me on your beautiful show and sharing your energy with me. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.